On today's edition of the Rockbridge Report, there's a new mayor in town and we'll show you final numbers on how Virginians voted on Election Day.
And our own Ellen Kanzinger visits a neighborhood divided over a plan to expand Kendall at Lexington.
Virginia residents, make sure to get outside this weekend because we will have perfect sunny skies and temperatures in the 60s. But on Saturday, you may want to add an extra blanket to your bed because temperatures will plummet into the 20s. More on the weather coming to you soon.
And later, they're cute and fuzzy, or scaly, but not everyone knows how to take care of them. We'll examine pet ownership responsibility in Rockbridge County. All that and more up next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Paulina Scova.
And I'm Samuel Mao.
The president-elect met with the president today in the Oval Office. Donald Trump and Barack Obama shook hands for the cameras and talked about a transition to the power for the 45th president of the United States.
We discussed a lot of different situations, some wonderful and some difficulties. I very much look forward to dealing with the president in the future, including counsel. He explained some of the difficulties, some of the high-flying assets, and some of the really great things that have been achieved.
I have been very encouraged by the, I think, interest in President-elect Trump's wanting to work with my team around many of the issues that this great country faces. And I believe that it is important for all of us, regardless of party and regardless of political preferences, to now come together, work together to deal with the many challenges that we face.
Mr. President, it was a great honor being with you, and I look forward to being with you many, many more times in the future. Thank you, sir.
Most of all, I want to emphasize to you, Mr. President-elect, that we now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
President Obama's meeting with Trump comes after Hillary Clinton's public concession, during which she urged the nation to keep an open mind.
I still believe, as deeply as I ever have, that if we stand together and work together with respect for our differences, strength in our convictions, and love for this nation, our best days are still ahead of us.
Clinton's running mate, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, also addressed a crowd on Wednesday. He expressed his gratitude and congratulated Clinton on a tough-fought campaign.
I want to thank Hillary Clinton for asking Ann and I to join this wild ride. We'll remember 105 days that we've had with this fantastic couple of public servants and all of you for the rest of our life.
And in local politics, for the 13th straight time, Republican incumbent Bob Goodlatte won the 6th district seat for the U.S. House of Representatives. Goodlatte beat Democratic opponent Kai Degner, who is a councilman and former mayor in Harrisonburg. Degner put up a fight, capturing 33% of the vote. The GOP retained the House majority and also held on to the Senate to maintain control of both chambers of Congress.
Virginia voters were divided on 2 constitutional amendments on the ballot. The Right to Work Amendment was rejected. The law would have enshrined in the Constitution that workers do not have to join a union to keep their jobs. That is a state law already, but it will not be part of the Constitution now. Virginians voted in favor of the second proposal, which provides a property tax break for surviving spouses of first responders.
Coming up after the break, Lexington mayoral-elect Friedman tells the Rockbridge Report what he plans to do when he takes office.
And the Rockbridge Report's Ellen Kanzinger is live outside the Municipal Center, where the Lexington Planning Commission is meeting to decide the fate of Kendall's proposal to build within city limits.
And later, a UK Constitution and Democratic Reform specialist tells us more about why the British exit from the European Union matters.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Ah, Smokey!
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's
try.
down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Kendall at Lexington hopes to expand its retirement community, despite an earlier promise not to do so. Reporter Ellen Kanzinger is live on Main Street with the story.
I'm here at the Municipal Building, where Kendall directors and neighboring residents will have the opportunity to speak before the Planning Commission later tonight. In 1995, a group of residents formed the Lexington Retirement Community because they saw a need for a continued living place in the area. The committee eventually partnered with the National Kendall Organization. Kendall at Lexington acquired 85 acres from Sunnyside Farm in 1998. The original agreement stated the 27 undeveloped acres would remain open. Now, the retirement community is looking to change the city ordinance to expand its facilities on that property. The zoning application must first go through the sitting Planning Commission, then City Council.
One of our primary tasks is to make sure that the development that does come in, if it is approved, doesn't affect the surrounding property owners or the community in a negative way.
The retirement community plans to build 38 independent living cottages on the undeveloped land behind me. Kendall hopes that the revenue raised from these independent cottages will go towards renovations to the Rehabilitation Center and Assisted Living Center. Diane Herrick has been a Kendall resident for 3.5 years. She said she enjoys a sense of community and hopes the additional cottages will add to that.
We are finding with baby boomers coming up, there continues to be an ever-increasing demand for residential living in this kind of continuing care place. And we would like to be able to meet that demand.
However, many neighbors in the area are concerned about the proposed plans. Most of the complaints focused on the additional construction, the redesign of the terrain, and the view.
Elected officials or appointed officials bowed to the interest of corporations. If they bowed every time, we would not have a Central Park. We wouldn't have a Blue Ridge Parkway. We wouldn't have the mall in D.C. or the Little Hopkins Green.
Molly McClure plans to ask for a referendum, which would allow citizens to vote on the issue.
Because they were given that land in exchange for the covenant not to build on it ever. And that's a permanent covenant that runs with the land.
We'll make a recommendation. It will be up to the City Council to decide whether or not the Kendall can move forward with the expansion. I'm Ellen Kanzinger with the Rockbridge Report.
Frank Friedman is already making plans for his term as the next mayor of Lexington. He received 54% of the vote, defeating his City Council colleague Chuck Smith. The Rockbridge Report sat down with the mayor-elect the day after the election and learned about his goal to be an approachable leader for Lexington.
I think it's going to be important to reach out to the community and understand what the concerns are for folks. Yesterday, since it was such a beautiful day and the lines were kind of long, people took some time to, whether it was decriminalization of marijuana prosecution, or schools, or taxes, or whatever was on their mind, but create the forum beyond just the regular city council meetings to have citizens come and speak and share their input. The city manager has done a great job of hosting, I believe, quarterly coffee talk, so to speak, at Sweet Treats. Something along those lines with the mayor, I think, would be advantageous. Not being the city manager and being a non-employee, if you will, may make it easier for people to approach in a more casual setting, whether it be at the Piovano Room or someplace like Sweet Treats or something of that nature. But and then having grown up here, know lots of people, so there were some sweet mothers of my friends who were giving me guidance yesterday in line, and always welcome that.
Lexington's current mayor of 8 years, Mimi Elrod, will leave office on December 31st, and then Friedman takes over in January 2017.
For Lexington City Council, local voters elected incumbent Marilyn Alexander and newcomers Michelle Hentz and Leslie Strohan. Hentz led the night with 1,200 votes, followed by Alexander with 1,162 and Strawn with 1,117.
And in Buena Vista, Perry McClure High School sports hero John Dyer held on to his city council seat. He earned 52.8% of the vote, beating opponent Tyson Cooper, who attended Southern Virginia University. Buena Vista residents also re-elected school board members Lisa Kerr and John Roberts on Tuesday. The two candidates ran unopposed. Both will serve a 4-year term. And in Glasgow, voters elected incumbents Michael Turner and James Sonny Williams and write-in candidate Andy Ryan to Glasgow Town Council. Write-ins totaled 87 votes for the third vacant seat. It's been a warm November so far this year. What's in store for the rest of the week, Bren?
Nothing but sunshine, Polly. As we can see from our almanac today, temperatures are, as we can see from our live shot, the sun is out today in Lexington. Fall is for sure here with the changing of the trees. Today's high is 62 degrees with a low of 38. The barometer is reading 30 inches with really low wind speeds of just 3 miles per hour and a humidity of 36%. Moving to our regional forecast, it is clear that there is sunshine all throughout Virginia today, with highs as high as 65 in Charlottesville and lows of about 64 in Roanoke. Moving to our satellite radar composite, you can see that all along the East Coast there's no cloud cover today and just sunshine, as that's all we can see for the rest of the week. Coming to our 5-day forecast, nothing but sun. Today's high 62 and a low of 31. Saturday gets a little bit colder with a high of 52 and a low of 27. Sunday through Tuesday will also be sunny with highs in the 60s and lows of 33, 36, and 39. So nothing but sun for the upcoming week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Bryn. Up next on the Rockbridge Report, Washington and Lee MockCon leader Caroline Bones will join us for more insight on the election results here in Virginia.
Plus, we went to Main Street to hear what locals had to say about election night.
Then find out if you've got what it takes to be a responsible pet owner.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
It was one of the most heated presidential races in history, leaving much of the nation divided. Lexington residents expressed a mix of reactions Wednesday to the surprising results.
I went into yesterday evening myself, and I was pretty sure that Clinton was going to win.
I was actually completely shocked. I went to bed pretty early. I was still feeling good about the election and thought that she still had an opportunity to win.
Extreme delight.
I think speechless is a pretty accurate description. The polls all suggested that Clinton was going to win the election.
There were really only two choices. I didn't think that the Libertarian candidate actually had a chance.
I think this country needs change desperately. They're really things have gotten so bad, and we need to get away from the standard Washington crowd and the politicians.
I was actually very concerned about Donald Trump and what he stood for.
I thought she had the background that was needed to be president.
I handled classified information. She mishandled that. She lied about it. She doesn't get a second chance.
I felt like, without a doubt, she had a much more experienced background. You know, I don't take anything away from Trump for his business background, except for the fact that there's a considerable amount of evidence that he stiffed a number of people, to include normal wage earners, in some of his contract work, and that upsets me big time.
I think the first thing he's got to do is fix Obamacare, and I think he's got to create some economic opportunities for working class folks.
I think there's going to be opportunities for small businesses here that maybe weren't possible in the previous regimes.
I haven't seen the results that came from Lexington, although I'm sure we probably voted for Hillary over Trump. I know there's a lot of disappointed people.
I give Trump credit. I thought his acceptance speech was right on target, and I think what we need to do is just make sure here in Lexington, just like everywhere else, we hold his feet to the fire, and unity should be the catchword that we live.
Many remain sorrowful and others celebrate, but President Obama and Hillary Clinton say the future still looks bright if Americans can come together. Joining us now is Caroline Bones. Caroline was the South Regional Chair for the Washington and Lee Mock Convention. Her territory included our home state of Virginia. Caroline was with us on election night and is back with more insight from the 2016 results. Welcome back, Caroline.
Always great to be on the Rockbridge Report.
So Caroline, tell us, were you surprised that voters rejected Virginia's current right-to-work laws and amendment?
Sure. Well, these referendums are really hard to predict because, unfortunately, you get a lot of your uninformed voters that kind of decide as they get to the polls. You know, they've worried so much about the presidential election and who they're going to pick. They usually don't. Sometimes they don't decide until right when they get in. Furthermore, the unions fought really hard against this, and so I don't think the result is absolutely surprising. And this is like y'all have already stated. This is already Virginia law, and this is just not going to be enshrined into the Constitution. So I don't think a lot of people have very strong opinions on this.
So what are your thoughts on the presidential candidate's performance here in Virginia?
So we saw that the polls on Virginia were a little bit off, but not to the same effect as the rest of the nation. A lot of the polls coming into Tuesday had Trump down about 6 points, and he finished about 5 points down. And so I think a lot of this can attribute to the national trends. Yes, we weren't quite sure who was going to show up to vote because there was lots of new registration. You had lots of people excited about Trump, and then you had Trump voters that weren't necessarily vocal about it. Furthermore, your swing voters that kind of captured this election for President-elect Trump are not the kind of swing voters that you see in Virginia. In Virginia, the stereotype of a swing voter is your Northern Virginia suburban soccer mom, where in Wisconsin and Michigan, you kind of got some of those Rust Belt Reagan Democrat workers.
Gotcha. So for the congressional race in the 6th District, incumbent Bob Goodlatte won his 13th consecutive race. However, newcomer Kai Degner put up quite a fight, winning 33% of the vote. Were you surprised that Degner received so many votes?
Well, Virginia's 6th congressional district is widely regarded as R+12, which means 12 points advantage Republican. And Degner did get 33% of the vote, which is about on par with past opponents. However, he's a great candidate. He was very put together and much more put together than, much more organized than a lot of Goodlatte's past challengers. I think that 33% not being higher than the historic number can be attributed to high turnout in rural areas of the 6th District. And I think also the redistricting that Virginia had to face, court-ordered, has thrown the district a little bit as well.
Great, Caroline. Well, thank you so much. We always appreciate your insight.
Good to be back.
The fall season is winding down and playoffs are closing in. What's the latest in sports, Keenan?
Well, Sam, raise another banner because the Washington and Lee women's soccer team are ODAC champions. The top-seeded Jennies rolled past Virginia Wesleyan Sunday to claim the title. They play again in the playoffs now this Saturday, taking on Hardin-Simmons at Center College in Kentucky. Men's soccer, unfortunately, couldn't complete the soccer clean sweep as they fell to Lynchburg last weekend in the ODAC championship. But the Generals are still bound for the NCAA tournament as they face St. Lawrence this weekend in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Coming off an undefeated 10-0 season in 2015, it looked as if Washington and Lee's football team was going to have a chance to repeat as ODAC champions this year, but it seems that it wasn't meant to be. The team, coming off 2 consecutive losses to Randolph-Macon and Bridgewater, is now 5-4. The Generals will take on Shenandoah University at home at 1 p.m. on Saturday in the final game of the 2016 season. Saturday is set to be a busy day for the Generals, with swimming, cross country, and wrestling also competing. VMI football is looking to break a 4-game losing streak this weekend. The Keydets play the Citadel at home at 1:30 p.m. And another local action, SVU football plays their last regular season game against Christopher Newport University. The Knights look to improve a 2-7 record this season with one last win. And that's all for sports this week. Back to you, Sam and Polly.
Thanks, Keenan. Looks like we've got tons of action for this weekend.
The opening of a new pet store in downtown Lexington, Virginia makes it easier for people in this area to own and take care of a pet. But the owner has some perfectly good advice on the responsibility of pet ownership. Maggie Siebold has the story.
Pets. They're great to play with and can be great companions for families or individuals. But some people are unprepared for the responsibility that comes with owning a pet. Owner of Lexington Pet Place, Cindy Jacobs, said the issue of pet abandonment generally arises because people buy or adopt pets that they don't have time for.
They don't even have them for a month, and we see them back out there, and so it's discouraging. If you invest in a pet, we really want to make sure that everybody's aware of its needs. The pets come first.
Emily Lilly is the owner of Rockbridge Reptile Rescue, which is one of only 2 rescues in Virginia. She says animal abandonment is a major issue in Rockbridge County.
Recently we got in some bearded dragons that had been dealing with starvation. I've never seen more emaciated animals.
The Rockbridge SPCA sees this problem too. Last year alone, people turned in more than 500 dogs and over 1,000 cats. But the SPCA has only 40 dog cages and 70 cat cages. To avoid this problem, Lily says to do your research when buying a pet.
You need to make sure you're prepared for the animal's whole life. It may be cute and little and itty tiny now, but what if the little iguana grows into a 6-foot creature? Are you ready for that? You have to be knowledgeable, and that will let you make a good decision both for yourself and for the animal.
We bought our bunny, Mr. Buttons, in August. It's a nice big cage. She gets to run around the basement. She gets lots of food. She's kind of fat now.
With the Rockbridge Report, I'm Maggie Siebold reporting with Caroline Blackman and Lily Arnold.
That's it for today's edition of the Rockbridge Report. Coming up right after the break, Julia Gazelle sits down with United Kingdom constitutional specialist Andrew Blake to discuss the meaning of the British exit from the EU. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to check out our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.